Do you think Fort Wilderness is just tents and bug spray? Think again. This resort offers everything from cozy cabins to campfire singalongs, horseback riding, and more. For some families, it's the ultimate Disney escape with a rustic twist, but for others, it might just be the most inconvenient resort on property. Let's talk about it.
Ready for your fast pass to unforgettable adventures? Welcome to Talk Travel to Me. Featuring our Mickey Guru Travel Company expert travel advisors, this podcast will guide you in traveling with more ease, confidence, and a sprinkle of magic. Tune in for unique insights, insider info, tips, and personal travel stories that'll transform your journeys into exhilarating moments and lifelong memories. Fasten your seatbelt, grab your passport, let's embark, and let's talk travel.
Welcome back to Talk Travel to Me. We're so glad you're here. Today, we're kicking off an exciting new ongoing series where we'll be diving into the more than 25 resorts available at Walt Disney World, helping you figure out which one is the right fit for your next magical vacation. And we're starting with one of the most unique and underrated options out there, Disney's Fort Wilderness Resort and Campground. Whether you're a seasoned camper or someone who prefers a soft bed and strong Wi-Fi, this place has a lot to offer, and maybe a few surprises too. We'll break down the difference between the campsites and the cabins, explore the wide variety of recreation and dining options, and share why this resort might be the perfect getaway or the worst choice for your family. Plus, we'll talk about the over-the-top magic that happens during Halloween and Christmas when the resort community goes all out with decorations and festivities. But before we get started, let's meet my co-hosts for today, Christy Lashane and Stephanie Halko. Ladies, please introduce yourself and share your favorite Fort Wilderness memory with us.
Thanks, Christy. Hi, I'm Stephanie Halko. I've been with Mickey Guru for about 8 years now. We have stayed at the Fort Wilderness probably at least 5 or 6 times. We love the Fort Wilderness, and I was really struggling trying to come up with our favorite memory because there's so many of them. But I asked my son right before the podcast, I said, "Hey, what's your favorite memory?" And he said, "You know what the best thing about the fort is? Getting up first thing in the morning, hopping on the golf cart before we go to the parks, and just driving down to get our coffees and our breakfast, and just seeing the wildlife. It's quiet, nobody's around, and seeing the deer on the side of the road, seeing the little rabbits hopping around, all the wildlife at the Fort Wilderness. It's really something special if you haven't been there. So that's some of our favorite memories, our tradition of getting out in the morning on the golf cart."
And I'm Christy Lashane. I have been a guru for about 6 years now, and I live in southern New Hampshire with my husband and my 21-year-old son. Um, Favorite Fort Wilderness memories. Um, I'll try to make them quick. I have three, but it's going to be really fast. They all are from my first visit when we went with my grandparents and my parents and some uncles. I wouldn't go to the slide at the playground because some kid peed on it, and I wouldn't go near the slide for the week. And I know this that's just silly. And a big snake in the road. There was a big giant snake, and I'm not into snakes. And then just like a sweet one, I know it was me and I'm talking about myself, but I remember going, there was a ticket window for Magic Kingdom next to Hoop-Dee-Doo.
Uh-huh.
For you could buy your tickets for the park, and it was only Magic Kingdom at the time. Yes, I'm a dinosaur. And I saw the prices, and I was trying to give my grandfather like my, I don't know, $5 or $10 spending money because I was horrified, and he just laughed at me. And it was just this really sweet memory, like with my grandfather. I was like, "Oh my gosh, Grampy, this is so much money." And
Oh,
you know, I don't know. It's just
I
the
love
silly
that.
things. Like a lot of times it's not about the parks and the running around. Like it's those other things that are your favorite memory. So,
Yeah, absolutely. And for those of you who may be listening to our podcast for the first time, my name is Christy Willett, and I'm the owner and founder of Mickey Guru Travel Company. Although I am a self-described bougie deluxe resort girl, I grew up camping in Ossipee, New Hampshire, so there is something extra magical for me about returning to the campground roots. My favorite memory actually happened when I was with our fellow travel agent Gina and her family, we rented golf carts. It was during the Christmas season, and we went around. I have to tell you for sure, it is one of my top tier Walt Disney World memories, not just Fort Wilderness. My sides still hurt, and it's been a couple of years. Like when I think about that night, it was so much fun, and it was just something you can't do anywhere else. Like, I mean, I guess if you go to the villages, you can drive a golf cart all around, but like it was like such a cool experience. And I know we'll talk a little bit more about the decorations and stuff later, but you can't sleep on Fort Wilderness. It's just such a cool experience. All right, now that we've met everyone, let's dive in. Christy, you want to get us started with kind of a quick overview of the resort, and we'll go from there.
So Fort Wilderness is actually almost an original to Disney World because they opened in November of 1971. So just after the park opened. It is a ginormous campground. You really do need those golf cart rentals.
Mhm.
750 acres, 800 campsites. There's 400 cabins. So there's an accommodation for everybody. And I think that's really important too when you're talking about how great the fort is.
Yeah, there's definitely that situation where you've got like the campsites where you've people actually tent camp in Florida, which
Hmm.
absolutely not. Absolutely not. There's too much, as we say, wildlife that I'm sleeping in a tent. No thanks. But people do it, and you can have up to 10 people on your campsite. So talk about cheap accommodations. If you've got a tent and you're willing to do that, more power to you. But also, there's options of getting a campsite where you can put like your pop-up camper or you can rent an RV. There are companies in the Florida, the Orlando area that will literally bring it in, set it all up for you, and you just walk in. So you don't have to even be a camper to do that.
Hmm.
But I prefer the cabins.
Me too.
I did it in a pop-up in July.
Ah,
Don't recommend. Don't. I just had these dreams of like, we got to go back to Fort Wilderness. I went as a kid. We got to go. And we had a pop-up camper. I think it was in like 2017. And my husband set up an AC, like a portable one,
mhm.
and even rigged it so it was supposed to be better. We had that go 24/7. And I think the lowest temperature in that thing was about 85 degrees.
Oh,
And we put like these blankets on top of that. It was a big project. I would not camp. And the people next to us were in a tent with a
yeah,
hole cut out, and they had a window air conditioner on a crate, like poking into their tent. They were probably cooler than we were. Like,
yeah.
yeah,
I had a I had a
July.
client that did, Allison, if you're listening, I had a client named Allison that she tented. She got one of those like yurts and
Hmm.
she stayed down at Fort Wilderness for quite a while. And didn't seem to bother her at all. Like she didn't mind. She had to set it up in the rain. She had to take it down in the rain because it's storming, right? Like, but she loved it. She has a lot of great memories from that. I just kept thinking like, oh my God, like, are you gonna be okay out there? She was. She liked it just fine.
I mean, different, everybody has their thing.
The talking about like the tents and the motorhomes. If you're not a camper, the cabins are some beautiful accommodations. And it's good for larger families too, because they sleep six. So that's nice. And, so if you're not like really into the whole RV camping or tent camping kind of theme or lifestyle, or I guess you want to call it, um, don't count this resort out, I guess I would say, because the cabins are pretty luxurious, especially the new ones that they just built this past year, that opened up this past year. So just wanted to point that out too. A lot of times I think I have a hard time selling people to these cabins because I think they're just like, oh, it's all campy. I'm not into camping. And for a long time, I didn't go to this resort for that same reason. I'm like, that theme is just not up my alley. It's like, I don't need to see pine trees. I live in New Hampshire. I don't need to like go to Disney and see pine trees. But I'm really glad that I opened up my mind to trying it out, and spending time in those cabins because it's something special. I'll tell you that.
Well, and it is, the new cabins really are bougie. They are
They're
actually
bougie.
considered
Hmm.
deluxe villas now. And they have all the modern amenities like a dishwasher, full refrigerator. Like It's not it looks rustic. Like they use that to make the theming of them, but it's not rustic.
Yeah.
All that's missing is a concierge, really. Like
Yeah, not at
comfy
all.
beds.
Yeah. I mean, they have a full fridge. Like, even
Hmm.
if you're not cooking, like a full fridge with a freezer, a real freezer is
Right?
fantastic. Like, we picked up some groceries on our way in when we stayed there last summer, and we got one of the Publix, like, sandwich rings. And then
Oh
we
yeah.
could pick at that. Like, but we had a big enough fridge to accommodate just that kind of stuff. I don't cook at home. I'm not cooking on vacation either. But just to have like that room, we got some frozen breakfast sandwiches and that kind of thing. And that way you were saving some money, but also time. Going out
Yeah.
to eat every morning, and it takes a lot of time. So if you can just pop something in the microwave, that's great.
I have a lot of clients that choose those cabins when they are looking for accommodations where they can cook because they have kids with food
Mm,
allergies or adults with food allergies. And that makes it like really convenient. Or if you have really picky eaters, right?
right.
And you know that you're not going to want to pay, let's say, to go to Crystal Palace, $60 a person so they can eat mac and cheese. Right?
Yeah.
Like they'll make the mac and cheese. I have one client that always brings her little Tupperware from home because the child is on the spectrum and really needs the same kind of a food offering all the time. So she'll make the mac and cheese in the morning and then bring it with them and they'll just eat it. So they'll go to like a restaurant that it has a regular menu so everybody else in the family can eat what they want and then the child gets to eat what they're going to eat. So they don't have to worry about it. I think that's like a huge perk of
Mm.
just having that flexibility. I'm like you, I don't cook at home. I'm not definitely not cooking on vacation, but
No.
The other thing too, right? If you don't want to cook in the kitchen, I wanted to mention that each cabin has its own grill, right at your site, little charcoal grill. So last time we bought just a small bag of charcoal from like Walmart, had it delivered, and had a nice night out cooking, right? You have a private deck. It's very private,
Mm.
with a picnic table, chairs, beautiful setup, and we just grilled burgers and dogs one night and it was so fun. You can just sit outside, look at the wildlife, have your, grill food when you're craving that. So I think that's a nice little perk. If you don't want to use the kitchen, you can do that outdoor grilling right at your cabin.
Yeah. One thing we did last time, and I've read about it and read about it, and it was the first time we tried it, was you can get the takeout fried chicken dinner from Trail's End. I think it
Mhm.
serves four.
Yeah.
And we brought that back to the cabin. We had dinner. Then we had leftovers. So who doesn't like, cold fried chicken like the next day?
right.
And, mac and cheese and potatoes and all that kind of stuff. Like it definitely at least covered the three of us for two meals. Like it was generous. So that was another like kind of fun thing that
Yeah.
having the kitchen made easier, made that a little bit easier. Um,
Well, I
yeah.
know we've all talked about before too that sometimes being at Walt Disney World can be overwhelming to
Mm,
like all of our senses. So one of the things that I like most about this resort is it's quiet. Like if you're in a cabin, or if you're in a tent, God help you. But if you're, doing that sort of thing, it's quiet. It allows you to just kind of relax either by grilling or sitting out with your coffee in the morning and just kind of taking it in. In some resorts, other resorts are quieter too, but this is like the quietest like that I've been at, where it's just you're in your own, you're not sharing walls with anybody else, so it can help if you've got people that are overstimulated or you might have people that struggle a little bit with sleeping when there's noises around them, like that sort of stuff. So I think that's helpful. Interestingly, you mentioned Trails End because one thing that I struggle with at uh, Fort Wilderness is the food situation.
Mhm.
And making your meals or having things delivered, like that is ideal. But we have the Hoop-Dee-Doo Revue, which is fabulous, but it's a dinner show, right? So it's pricey. It's not something you're going to do every night. Trails End used to be a sit-down restaurant, and I loved that.
I
But
miss
it's,
it.
I
Me too.
know,
I know.
I miss it.
they make mistakes sometimes, and I
I
keep hoping that
know.
they're going to fix that because now it's quick service, which is, it's fine, but I would really want a sit-down restaurant option there, and they just don't have that. But they also do have Crockett's Tavern, which I will say
Yeah.
They have some fabulous drinks in there, and then
Oh yeah,
sliders to go with it, and
Sliders.
wings.
Yep.
Their moonshine, I
so
mean,
good.
so good. Like I'm literally sitting here going, I want a moonshine flight right now. But
We always get that. The moonshine flight is delicious. And they have
have
a
you?
walk-up window too, right? If you don't want to go sit in Crockett's, you
Right.
can just go to your walk-up window and go sit somewhere else and enjoy your scenery, right? You can sit by the boat dock or anywhere.
Yeah, my son
The
knows it well because he was
Nothing.
21 last summer and he would just say, I'm going on a golf cart ride. And he would end up at Crockett's Tavern and he had his magic band. So
Oh,
just
Oh,
go get a drink and hang out by the dock. And it was funny. Like it was just funny.
that reminds me of that story. Remember a couple years ago, there was a family that went to the Hoop-Dee-Doo Revue, and the dad and the family had a little too much of the free sangria slash beer, whatever it was that he was drinking,
Oh
and he
no.
drove his golf cart off the pier. Do you guys remember hearing that story?
no.
You'll have to
No.
Google it, but it was crazy because I kept going at my husband. I was like, divorce. Like divorce. You do something like that because he's never allowed back on Disney property, like the whole nine yards. And I literally
There's
was like,
gators in the water.
there's
I
gators.
know.
You also signed saying that you're responsible for this golf cart, and now you're driving under the influence into the lake. What are you doing? But yeah, that
Oh
was
my
one of my
goodness.
like, yeah, you gotta
Oh,
Google that story. That
I
was
will have
funny.
to look that up.
I
Yeah.
wish there was a way to find that woman and be like, so how'd it go when you got home?
Right.
When you fished him out of the water, what happened
Oh my
next?
goodness. Oh my goodness.
So we've talked about the golf carts, but I think we need to talk more about the golf carts because it's truly my favorite part.
They're really necessary. I mean, I know it's an added expense, but you know, I don't know how to explain it. And it's funny you mentioned the villages. My grandparents lived in the villages. Like that
Mhm.
was the best thing to go visit them and go to Target on a golf cart and
Yep.
ride around on the golf carts. Like it's just fun, even if you are a driver, like of age to drive a car. Like I don't know, there's just something about it. It's just so much
Something about
fun.
it. And yeah, I mean,
Yeah,
like the golf carts are pricey, Christy, to your point. But I will say the cabins are DVC now, right? So if you look
yeah,
at and compare it to other DVC prices for DVC rooms,
mhm,
they're pretty
yeah,
reasonable, right? The cabins are reasonable, and especially if you get in on a special offer,
Hmm.
I kind of just
yeah,
bundle in that golf cart price because I know it's like you said, you have to have that golf cart. You don't
yeah.
really, but you kind of do because
I
the
kind
place
of
is
do.
so big and spread out, and it just adds to the fun of it so
And
much.
you'll want it. I
Yeah,
mean,
you'll want it.
when I was there in August, and it's very warm in August, I went to go do my laundry at the comfort station and rode the little golf cart. And there was another family there that was doing their laundry, and we got to talking. And they were in a cabin actually in our loop, but they didn't rent a golf cart. And that was quite the hike. Like even
Yeah.
without the heat, because the comfort station near us, their laundry was being renovated or something. So we had to go to a different one. I ended up giving them a ride back. I kind of beeped at them and stopped on the side of the, and I'm like, this is weird, I know, but hop in. And they did. And then they were like, we're getting right in our truck and going to rent one. This is crazy because the resort is very large.
Hmm.
Hmm.
Like just to get to the bus at the front end or the marina at the back end, the internal buses are there, but
I was gonna say that's
golf
your other
cart.
option. Like if you've driven down,
Yeah.
you could bring your bicycles, but you can't really
Yes.
carry laundry on your bike, right?
No.
And your option is an internal bus system, which it will work in a pinch, but you can't even drive your car from like your
No.
site or your cabin to like the boat marina. You'd
No.
have to drive up front and then get on an internal bus. Like it adds at
Mhm.
least 15 minutes or more to your
Oh
journey
yeah.
getting anywhere.
Yeah,
Mhm.
Plus, they're fun. They're
they're
fun.
fun.
Well,
Like,
and my parents, we're not staying at Fort Wilderness, but my parents, I talked them into taking their RV and meeting us there at the end of the month. My dad didn't want to rent a golf cart because
mhm,
they have electric bikes. Well, electric bikes aren't allowed at the fort.
yeah.
So that's a good little piece of information too, because he thought they could just ride their electric bike down to the marina because there are, places to lock up your bikes and things like that.
Mhm.
But you can't do that. So they are getting one. They're getting a golf cart. They relented. They finally listened to me.
Golf cart reminds me of the Segway tours that they do there. So like
Mhm.
we all know that like some of the activities that they do here are things like they don't do anywhere else on property. I have had my eye on that Segway tour for a long time. And to be quite upfront and honest, I couldn't do it for a while because there's a weight limit for it. And now I have lost weight, so I can absolutely get myself on a Segway. And I want to do that. It's like a 2 hour tour around. They teach you how to use it, thank goodness, because I have no idea and no coordination. And
Mhm.
helmets are required, friends.
Mhm. They
But
are.
like that unique entertainment, and I
Yeah.
feel like I don't normally take a lot of rest days, but when we've stayed at Fort Wilderness, I usually do every other day as a resort day. I don't
Yep.
Disney Springs, but like so it's really my time to like just relax and explore and do those kinds of things.
Yeah, there's
Yeah.
so much to do at this resort. That's a good point, Christy. Maybe we should talk about like all the offerings, right? Because you can
Yeah.
do
Absolutely.
horseback riding, you can do the Segway, like you just mentioned, archery lessons, carriage rides, uh, Chippendale sing-along. They have that every night. And then I did a little painting. A painting, it's Crockett's Craft Corner, where you can paint your own wooden masterpiece and decorate it the way you want, and bring it home and make things out of it, hang it on your wall. It's beautiful. And you get a couple drinks with it and light offerings, cheese boards, things like that. It's just a great way to spend some time outside of the parks and not be immersed in those crowds 24/7. But the activities are just, I feel like this resort, more than any other one, has so much to do, especially for little kids, to keep them busy outside of the parks. But yeah, the painting thing's really fun. They have it every Tuesday. Um, you can sign up for that. Advanced reservations are recommended. But yeah, it's a cost, obviously, but you do get a couple drinks and those light offerings, and you leave with your masterpiece, so it's nice, and it travels fine in your suitcase.
And you're going to share pictures. So if you
Yeah.
guys are
Yeah,
listening to this,
definitely.
we'll see it on Instagram. So you can go check out on Talk Travel to Me Pod on Instagram. And Stephanie's going to share not only her masterpiece, but her husband Jeff's. And I can't wait to see it because there's something really cool about that one. So definitely go check that out.
Yeah, it's called Wine and Wood Shop. Like, what can go wrong? It's a wine and wood shop. But kids have to be guests have to be 8 and up. And you can have one guest with you with the cost of it. So, for example, if Jeff didn't want to create his own when we went, he could have come and just watched me or helped me along with mine,
Mhm.
for the cost of one person. But of course, he
Yeah.
wouldn't have the drink tickets, and I don't know how they work out the food thing. But you are allowed to take one person, and the ages are 8 and up, and it's every Tuesday. So we try to not do a park day. We've done this twice, and we're going to do it again on our next trip in a couple months. So totally fun.
Yeah, another thing that and I sometimes tell guests to take a break from Magic Kingdom and come over to Fort Wilderness is the new stables. I guess it's
Mm,
not that new. They built them right before I think the COVID shut down. But you can go visit the horses. And we went over there one time and we met Phil, Merida's horse from the parade, and the cast member told us all about Phil. And they have pony rides too for the younger
yeah.
kids. And that's something like if you're just even looking to get it for a break out of the hustle and bustle of Magic Kingdom, you go over there, decompress, because like we said, it's very calming and just serene over there and quiet. And then just visit some horses. I mean,
Hmm.
what a great way to spend the afternoon. And anyone can go in there, like as long as you can get over to Fort Wilderness. And if you're staying there, how much easier is that?
Right.
Yeah.
And you mentioned the carriage ride, Stephanie, and I have to tell
Mm.
you a story. We We took my in-laws to Disney World quite a few years ago now, and we decided to do a carriage ride. It was Christmas time, and so one of the things that makes the fort so magical is the decorations.
Mhm.
Disney does a great job, but the majority of what there is to see is actually because the people that are camping there come year after year and they build the most amazing displays. So we decided to do a carriage ride. My daughter was probably 12 or 13. We were so excited. My mother-in-law came along for the ride. We left my husband and my father-in-law at Crockett's Tavern because it only fit four adults. So we were like, yeah, they stayed back. But I kid you not, they gave us blankets. We had our hot chocolate because it was actually a chilly night. The woman that was driving the horse-drawn carriage was fantastic. But my mother-in-law talked about people dying the entire time. And I kept like looking at her going, we're seeing like we had Christmas music, we had like and she's like, "Oh yeah, well that person I went to high school with, they died.
Oh,
They died."
no.
And I kept looking at her and then like my daughter and so like I know it's crazy, but it's actually one of a great memory that we have now because like every time like I'll just say like horse-drawn carriage and my daughter will go, "Well that person died and then this one died and then this one's on the doorstep." Like so
That
it's
is
funny.
funny.
It's one of the things that like I know, and all have clients that are like, I got to get these things checked off a list. I got to do this and I got to do that. And this is a great resort for allowing the moments to just happen. Like
Hmm.
Yeah.
schedule time to
Yeah.
just let things happen and we will remember that for the rest of our lives. Like, and it's such a sweet
Yeah.
memory of her. I know it sounds kind of crazy, but we know people get
Oh,
to a
but
certain age and they talk about that more than you do when you're 25 or 13, like for
Right.
sure. Um,
But
so
that's
yeah.
the things in general I think about Disney that I talk to clients about a lot of times. It's not, yes, you're paying all this money to go on your vacation and you want to experience all the things, but it's those moments that are the ones that stick in my mind. My favorite things are not about, you know, riding Tron 57 times or something. Like it's really about spending that time together. Or when we camped, this just popped in my head, crazy memory. 2017, we camped in the pop-up and I kept all the food in our minivan
Uh-huh.
and I left the doors open and the squirrels in Disney World are not afraid of anything. We
Oh,
had a squirrel in the minivan and he was just sitting on my driver's headrest, staring me down. I was throwing things from the back end at him. He would not move. We have pictures and video of this guy. I don't remember how we eventually got him out, but he wanted, I don't know what, the bags of chips or something that were in the car. It was hilarious. And we talk about that squirrel still. Yeah.
oh my gosh. We need pictures of that guy for the Instagram
Yes.
photos
I
too.
have it somewhere. Yes.
Uh, well, and you know what's funny is like we talked about in the beginning about how there are, for a lot of clients, it could be a fabulous resort choice. And I think we've kind of talked about all the things that go into that. But who are people that you think this is not a good idea for? Like, who would you say, like, maybe you don't want to come stay
What
here?
I don't know about a certain type of person, Christy, but out of the gate, the first thing that strikes me about this versus other resorts is you're not going to have that connected like main lobby where you have a gift shop connected, your quick service, all the hoopla within the main lobby. It's just, and then the buildings that are connected to get to your room with the elevators, like that whole hotel kind of feel a, a lot of people like that and want that, right? And you're not going to get that here. You're going to check in at the Fort Wilderness and probably never see that main check-in area again, like you wouldn't have to.
Right.
And your gift shops are spread out across the campground. And again, the golf cart makes it easy to get to where you need to go. But it's so different in that way, where you're going to have this secluded, almost like a mini little house, your cabin. You're not going to have people walking by you in hallways or in elevators with you, or it's just so private and so secluded. So, I mean, I guess that's one thing I talk to clients about and make sure they understand that. That was kind of like the big shock to me the first time I stayed there. I'm like, oh, this is weird. Like I'm
Hmm.
checking in here and then I'm not seeing that ever again. And we're
Hmm.
just so secluded.
Yeah. And I think that's something you're not used to unless you are a
Right.
camper,
Right.
because we've always camped. So it that didn't even occur to me that that would be different. I think one other thing is if you are the type of person who likes to have your in-room laundry, like a
Hmm.
lot of the villas, the 1 and 2 bedroom and even the grand villas have laundry in the unit. The cabins don't.
Yeah.
And I really wish they would have found a way to put that in there personally. But the comfort stations aren't bad to get to or anything like that. But I think people that like that, like throw in a load at night, when you're tired and you get back from the parks and everyone's, going to bed, like you can't do that. So that's one little miss I think that was for me. I wished that the cabin they had put in the laundry.
Yeah.
Yeah. I feel like too that one of the drawbacks I think for Fort Wilderness is if you're going and you're looking for a heavy theme park experience, like if you're planning on being in the theme parks every day from, sun up to fireworks, it may not be the right place. It is close to Magic Kingdom, so it is really convenient there, but it's kind of a vacation inside of a vacation. So
Hmm.
if you're looking to just like, I have some clients that they literally are like, I need to be either on the monorail or on the Skyliner because I'm going to go from this to that to this to that. And like that's their focus. It's probably not the best spot.
Right. Right.
Kind of like what we've talked about, the taking advantage of the amenities and being able to kind of relax. You know how like we always tell people that when you go to Disney World, sometimes you need a vacation from your vacation.
Hmm.
Mhm.
If you're committed to not doing it that way, this is the perfect spot. Like you'll leave, if you plan your days appropriately, you'll actually leave feeling refreshed and rejuvenated and ready to like go home again versus the last time I was just down there. I was just in at Universal and by the time I came home, I was like, what sleep? I don't know what that looks like. So like I'm picturing that those kind of travelers exist where they're like, no, I want to be in the parks constantly. So that's the one thing that I say to people, like when you're thinking about we're having conversations in the initial consultation, I'm saying, what do you envision your days to be like? When the people say things like, oh, I'd love to get up and have a cup of coffee and I like to relax and I don't need to be there at the crack of dawn. I'd rather roll in around 10 or 11. I'm like, okay, we're edging closer to a Fort Wilderness
Yeah.
type experience.
Well, and correct me if I'm wrong because I'm allergic to all the animals, but you can bring your dog.
You
Yep.
can.
So that is something that, certain clients, that's important to them. And they don't want to leave, their fur baby at home. So I know that there's, a few of the other hotels are pet friendly as well, but that's a big plus for the cabins.
Hmm.
And you'd have
Definitely.
more room for your pets
Right.
in the cabin.
And I do believe it's the only DVC that allows pets, like in the DVC villas. Because I remember my husband and I were sitting at the Polynesian one day waiting for dinner at Ohana, and they had the DVC rep there, and she was like, "Oh, can I talk to you about Fort Wilderness?" And I looked at her and I said, respectfully, and she's like, sure." And I went, I don't understand why they're considered deluxe properties. I don't like it. To me, these are always been moderates. Now they did upgrade them considerably,
Yes.
so I get it now. But she was like, "But you could bring your dog." And at the time, I did have a dog, but my dog was anxious as all get out. And the idea of bringing Bugsy on a plane to put him
Oh
in a
my goodness.
cabin, I was like,
Yeah.
not a selling point for me. I get for some people it absolutely is, but it's yeah, I definitely have changed my opinion since seeing them now as DVC villas. They're definitely more upgraded than the original cabins were, but
I just thought of another big pro to being here versus at a deluxe hotel or any other hotel for that matter. I don't know about you guys, but every time we get a room that is so far away from the main
Hmm.
lobby and you
Yes.
get home from the parks and your legs are killing and you have to walk a mile to get to your room and it's like, oh my God, this walk is killing me. The nice thing about having the golf cart, right? So if you're coming back from Magic Kingdom on the boat, your cart is going to be right there and you're going to drive back to your cabin and be able to put your feet up and go to bed. Same thing as if you're coming from another park, the bus is going to drop you right off in the front and your golf cart will be parked there in the parking lot right near the bus. So for us, that was another huge bonus to to
Yeah.
just get right back to our room and not have to do that all that extra walking.
it's almost like they need
Absolutely.
a golf cart situation at Kidani Village. Because I've
Yes,
been on
Yes.
the wrong side of that loop.
Yep.
And
me
it is,
too.
you're walking like 3 miles to your room. It's like, no, no, where is the little, the airport thing they have? Like you could ride on it and someone
Oh
drives you
yeah,
down the hallway in
yeah,
the airport. That's what
they
they
need
needed some
that.
of those. Yeah. I actually think that's a fabulous point, Stephanie. That it's yeah.
And you know
Animal
what we,
Kingdom is the one too, Christy, that sticks in my mind.
yeah,
The times we've stayed at Animal Kingdom Lodge, those were the longest walks when we
yeah,
got back we're always in a room like the furthest possible you can get
yeah.
Hmm.
from the main lobby.
And at least you get it there, like they're making you, go around a savannah. So
Hmm.
it
Yeah,
makes sense.
yeah.
But then I always get furthest in Beach Club,
Oh yeah,
or
Beach
when we
Club.
stayed at Boulder Ridge, like we are at the end of that long hallway. Like it never ever uh fails us, like that we are the furthest from everything.
Yeah. One last thing I want to make sure I mention because this comes up a lot. I'm sure you guys have found this too. Fort Wilderness Campground is not the same as Wilderness Lodge Resort.
Oh gosh, yes.
And it is very confusing for people. I don't understand why they named it the way that they did, quite honestly, because I've had people send packages to the wrong one. Like they send like their grocery orders or they have their
Oh,
ECV delivered or strollers, like all to the wrong one all the time. And then also like I had a client once that we were talking and they were talking about Disney's Wilderness Lodge and I was on that trail with them and then all of a sudden they started saying things like about Hoop-Dee-Doo and they were talking about the tavern and they kept talking about the meadow swimming pool and luckily I was like, hold on. Are we talking about the campground? Yeah, yeah. Okay. And Fort Wilderness Lodge is not a thing,
You
right?
see that all the time.
You do, and I feel bad because I think we know the difference, and I
yeah,
think once people understand that it's one's a deluxe resort in one building, right? That has a rustic feel, happens to be my personal favorite resort at
yeah,
Walt Disney World, but it's not the same, and they definitely have issues with that. I've been on the bus with people
yeah.
that thought they were going to one versus another. It's confusing. So,
Yeah. And one thing we almost forgot, one of my favorite things, the electric water pageant.
oh yes,
It's
tell us.
one of my favorites. And I again feel like I'm aging myself, but it started, it's one of the original things that's still left. I mean, it
Hmm.
started about 3 weeks after Magic Kingdom opened. Um, there's floats that come by. They go by all of the Magic Kingdom resorts. And I can't remember the name of the song. It's escaping me, but like it's our favorite thing. And oh my gosh, is it 10 minutes long or
Yeah.
thereabout? And we used to even go to the Polynesian just to watch it on the beach.
Hmm.
Like we'd go visit the Polynesian, get a snack from the little store up, in the lobby and go out there and watch it. And it's just one of those, maybe it's a nostalgia thing for me since I remember watching it as a kid, but it's just cute and it's free. Like that's
Hmm.
not something to pay. Disney can be very expensive and I think like there's a lot of things there that don't add on to your cost. Your stay, it includes visiting the stables. You can do that for free. You can see the pageant for free. There's, some things over there that I think are really special and unique. They're not heavy hitters or, big, I don't know, to
It's
do,
not Cosmic Rewind,
but
but
it's
not every
not.
day can have a Cosmic Rewind.
No, and it's just again like those little moments, like there's some tables down by the beach. You get there early enough, get a table and some chairs and just hang out with your family, talk about what you did during the day, and then watch this little show before you go back and go to bed. Like I think it's a perfect ending to the day.
Yeah, absolutely. All right. Well, I feel like we covered all 750 acres of Fort Wilderness Resort during this episode, but somehow I feel like we could go on forever. Like I literally keep thinking like, "Oh, what about that? Oh, what about that?" Maybe we'll do an episode 2 on this topic. Thank you so much for sharing your enthusiasm for this unique resort, ladies. I know we're all fans, so when we started talking about making this episode, we were all like, "Wait, we got to do this for sure."
Hmm.
If any of our listeners have questions or want to share your thoughts and opinions on Fort Wilderness, send us a text right to the show. You can do it right in the show notes. There's a text line there, or you can drop us a comment on our Instagram post. You'll find us at Talk Travel to Me Pod. We'll not only answer you, we'll share your thoughts on a future episode. Oh, and if you have a specific resort you'd like us to cover next, tell us that too. If you're ready to start planning your Fort Wilderness vacation, we'd love to help. You'll find both Christy and Stephanie listed on mickyguru.com, and their contact information is right here in the show notes too, so you can get to them directly. And of course, if you love this episode, we'd absolutely love it if you'd shared it with a friend and left us a review. You can leave a rating and review in less than a minute on Apple Podcast or on Spotify, and every review helps our show find more listeners. Until next time, see you real soon, travelers.
Thanks for listening to Talk Travel to Me. We hope this episode cracked open inspiration for the treasures that await you at your next dream destination. If you love the show, please review, subscribe, and share it with a friend. At Mickey Guru Travel Company, we're your trusted guides for theme parks, cruises, resorts, and more. Visit our website at mickyguru.com to learn more and book your vacation today.